Welcome back to CIA Declassified. It is the early 2000s, just after the world fundamentally shifted. You are inside a nondescript building in Fort Meade, Maryland. The air is chilled to a precise degree, moving in constant artificial gusts to keep the heat of 1,000 processors from melting the floor. It smells of static, ionized air, and the faint, burnt scent of high voltage electronics. This is the dawn of the information explosion, where the internet has transitioned from a novelty to the central nervous system of the planet. As you step deeper into the facility, the world of the physical begins to blur into the world of the binary. You are standing before a wall of glass, looking at a visualization of the global data flow, a shimmering bioluminescent web of pulsing gold threads stretching from New York to Singapore. Every pulse is a life. Every flicker is a choice. You aren't just an observer. You are being invited to step into the machine. You feel the floor vibrate beneath your boots as the servers ingest another petabyte of human existence. You are no longer just a person. You are a ghost in the wires, part of a living, breathing archive that captures the heartbeat of the modern world. You are standing at the edge of an invisible ocean. Every time someone in Berlin checks their email, every time a student in Tokyo logs into a forum, and every time a traveler in London pings a cell tower, a digital droplet is formed. You are watching the birth of MARINA. The atmosphere is one of silent, godlike surveillance. It isn't frantic, it is patient. It is the feeling of a net being cast so wide that the fish don't even know they are inside it. You are the analyst now. You aren't listening to conversations. You are looking at the metadata, the digital breadcrumbs left behind by millions of lives. You feel the immense power of the social graph. By clicking a single node, you can see everyone a target has ever contacted, where they were when they did it, and how long they stayed. You aren't just reading a file, you are watching a life unfold in a series of timestamps and IP addresses. The responsibility is a cold weight in your chest. You know that in this database, privacy isn't a right, it's an obsolete concept. Why MARINA? Within the internal nomenclature of the NSA, the database was named to reflect its role as a vast reservoir or sea of information. While the agency often uses cryptic diagraphs, MARINA was an evocative, functional name chosen because it served as the docking point for various streams of internet metadata collected from global fiber optic cables. It is the place where the signal's intelligence comes to rest. It is the ocean that holds the metadata of the world's digital life. To navigate the depths of this digital abyss, one must understand the cold mathematical precision that governs the MARINA repository. MARINA is a primary metadata repository managed by the NSA. It stores contact graph data which maps who is talking to whom. The program was revealed to the public through the Edward Snowden leaks in 2013. MARINA stores metadata for up to a rolling year for general targets. It ingests data from the PRISM program, which I have an episode on. The database tracks browser history, email headers, and instant messenger logs. MARINA utilizes a tool called XKeyscore to query and filter the data. I also have an episode on that. It tracks the geolocation of users based on IP addresses. The program utilizes pattern of life analysis to identify abnormal digital behavior. MARINA stores metadata on both foreign targets and American citizens. The system utilizes scalable storage architecture to handle quintillions of bytes. It supports the Targeting and Analysis Center. MARINA tracks cookie data to follow users across different websites. The program utilizes contact chaining to find associates of associates. It integrates with the Mainway database. MARINA stores VPN and Tor usage logs. The system utilizes machine learning to categorize websites. It monitors file sharing and peer-to-peer network metadata. MARINA was utilized to track high-value targets in the Middle East. The program records the user agent string identifying the specific device. It utilizes cross-platform correlation to link phones and laptops to one identity. MARINA stores failed login attempts to identify potential hackers. The system was audited by the FISA court after overcollection reports. It tracks application metadata, such as when an app is opened. MARINA is part of the Five Eyes Intelligence Sharing Agreement. MARINA can store drafts of emails that were never actually sent. It tracks the specific time a user's mouse hovers over a link. The system can identify users based on their unique typing cadence, keystroke dynamics. MARINA tracks the battery level and signal strength of mobile devices at the time of connection. It stores metadata from smart home devices, including thermostat settings. The database tracks the metadata of metadata, tracking how analysts interact with the data itself. It can identify a person by the unique electrical noise signature of their device's hardware. MARINA logs the language settings and keyboard layouts of every connected user, even if they're using a Linux machine. The system tracks the jump points of users moving between public Wi-Fi hotspots. It stores the file name and file size of every attachment sent through monitored services. MARINA utilizes acoustic fingerprinting to identify background sounds and recorded metadata snippets. It tracks in-game chat metadata from popular online multiplayer games. The system identifies burner phones by looking for new IMEI numbers appearing at known retail locations. MARINA stores password change history to find patterns in user security habits. It tracks contact deletion events, noting when a target tries to erase a digital relationship. The database stores metadata from connected cars, including door lock timestamps. It can correlate power consumption surges in a home with specific digital activity. MARINA tracks ad ID numbers to link anonymous web browsing to real identities. The system logs App Store searching history, even for apps that were never downloaded. It can identify shadow profiles, people who don't have accounts but are mentioned by others. MARINA stores clock drift data to uniquely identify specific server hardware. The system tracks the screen resolution and orientation of mobile devices. It logs Bluetooth pairing history to map real-world proximity between targets. MARINA tracks unsent text, metadata, messages typed but deleted before hitting send. It utilizes packet inter-arrival time to bypass encryption and identify the type of content being viewed. The database stores firmware version history for every router it pings. It tracks the recycling bin metadata of cloud storage accounts. MARINA records search autocomplete selections. It can map the physical layout of a room using Wi-Fi signal interference patterns, Wi-Fi sensing, for real. The system stores the digital signature of every PDF document accessed by a target. A quote from Michael Hayden, former director of the NSA: "Metadata is the most revealing thing you can have about a person's life." Quote from a declassified internal NSA training document: "MARINA allows us to look back in time. We don't need to be listening today to know what you were doing yesterday." Quote from a declassified NSA technical directive: "The metadata tells you everything but the actual words, and often the words are the least important part." Declassified CIA intelligence review: "In the digital age, a man's shadow is more informative than his voice." A declassified internal memo on Project MARINA: "We are not looking for what they say, we are looking for the frequency of their existence." A quote from a declassified NSA internal legal briefing: "The ocean of data is a witness that cannot be silenced by a lawyer." And a quote from a CIA director, but it doesn't say which one: "Data is the new geography of the clandestine world." End quote. Within the privacy, compliance, and oversight reports for MARINA, the section regarding bulk collection of domestic hubs is almost entirely blacked out. Approximately 85 pages are redacted. These redactions are enforced under Exemption B1 for classified national security information. I suspect these pages detail the specific physical taps located at major internet exchange points on U.S. soil. It suggests the redacted portions cover the direct ingest agreements with major US tech giants that allow MARINA to bypass traditional warrant requirements for metadata. Most significantly, the redactions likely hide the co-traveler algorithms, sophisticated math that identifies who you are physically with based on whose phones are pinging the same towers or Wi-Fi routers at the same time, essentially mapping your real-world social life through digital echoes. And I'm not the only one with theories. When the government builds an ocean of data, everyone wonders what's lurking at the bottom. There's the predictive arrest theory. Some speculate that MARINA is used in conjunction with pre-crime AI to flag individuals for enhanced surveillance before they have even committed a crime. There's the blackmail archive theory. It claims that MARINA is used to collect compromat on every politician, judge, or journalist. Then there's the simulation theory. It suggests the data is being used to build a digital twin of the entire population. And then there's the thought control hypothesis. Some think the metadata is fed into high-frequency transmitters to influence human brainwaves, using the captured patterns of behavior to echo back specific emotional states to the population. Was MARINA a success? Tactically, it was an unparalleled breakthrough. The ability to perform retrospective analysis is a game changer. Before MARINA, if a suspect was identified, you could only watch them from that moment forward. With MARINA, you can look back 5 years and see everything and everyone they ever met. It turned the needle in a haystack problem into a searchable database problem. It allowed for the dismantling of decentralized networks that lacked a traditional head as the metadata revealed the invisible threads connecting them. The program essentially provided a time machine for analysts, allowing them to witness the evolution of a threat long before it became kinetic. It enabled the tracking of sleeper cells by identifying dormant digital signatures that suddenly pulsed with life, allowing for interdiction at the moment of peak vulnerability. The success of MARINA was rooted in its identity correlation capabilities. In an era where individuals use dozens of aliases, handles, and devices, MARINA acted as the universal glue. By mapping the consistent metadata footprint, the specific hardware IDs, and connection habits, the agency could strip away the mask of any digital actor. This tactical dominance meant that the concept of a denied area in the digital world effectively ceased to exist. Every encrypted message still had an unencrypted envelope, and MARINA was the master of the mailroom. Strategically, it created a trust deficit that may never be repaired. While the program has been credited with stopping numerous attacks, the strategic fallout from the Snowden leaks damaged the reputation of the U.S. tech industry and strained international relations. The program proved that total information awareness is technically possible, but perhaps socially unsustainable. It forced a global conversation on the nature of privacy in a world where metadata is the new currency of control. The strategic cost was the balkanization of the internet as nations began to build sovereign networks to escape the reach of programs like MARINA, potentially ending the era of a truly global open web. The strategic reliance on bulk collection shifted the agency's focus from human intelligence to signals intelligence. This led to a strategic blind spot where the agency could tell you where someone was, but not necessarily what they were thinking. The strategic danger of MARINA lies in its seductive certainty. It presents a world of clear data points that can mask the complex, irrational human motives that actually drive history. Strategically, the U.S. may have traded long-term diplomatic and social trust for short-term technical omniscience, a bargain whose full price is still being calculated. As far as operational and technological breakthroughs go, it led to quite a few, such as large-scale metadata indexing, allowing the intelligence community to map the nervous system of an entire nation by processing trillions of connection events in real time to find a single anomaly. The military applies this to battlefield networking mapping, where every sensor, drone, and radio on the field is indexed to prevent friendly fire and coordinate multi-domain strikes. For humanity, this breakthrough powers the modern search engine. It is the fundamental math that allows you to search billions of web pages and find a specific result in under a second, turning the chaos of the internet into a usable library. Social graph mapping is used by the intelligence community to identify the logistics hubs and shadow ledgers of insurgent groups who never communicate directly with their soldiers. The military uses this to map the influence of local warlords or tribal leaders in occupied territories, allowing for precision diplomacy or targeted strikes. For humanity, this is the technology behind social media recommendation engines. It is the reason your apps can suggest people you may know or content you'll like. It is the mathematical study of human association used to build global communities and sell targeted advertising. Pattern of life behavioral analytics enables the intelligence community to flag insider threats by noticing when an employee's digital habits deviate by even a fraction from their established norm. The military uses this for targeted interdiction, identifying the routine movements of high-value targets to determine the exact moment a strike will have the least collateral damage. For humanity, this technology is the backbone of credit card fraud detection. When a bank blocks a purchase because it doesn't look like you, it is using the same behavioral math pioneered by MARINA to protect your financial identity. Scalable cloud storage and retrieval ensures the intelligence community can store every digital interaction indefinitely, creating a permanent record that never degrades. The military uses this for big data fusion, storing decades of terrain and atmospheric data to train autonomous flight systems and AI tanks. For humanity, this breakthrough is cloud computing. Every time you save a photo to your phone's cloud or stream a movie, you are using the massive distributed storage architecture that were originally refined to hold the world's surveillance data, making information accessible anywhere on Earth. We live in a world where we are constantly leaking. MARINA was the first organization to realize that those leaks could be captured and turned into a map of the human race. It was a project that proved that the context of our lives is more valuable than the content. The reality of MARINA is that it turned the internet into a permanent record. It proved that in the digital age, you are never truly alone and you are never truly forgotten. This project established the precedent that the state has the right to own the digital shadow of every human being on the planet. But the true legacy of MARINA isn't just a database. It is a fundamental shift in the human condition. We are the first generation of humans whose every interaction is witnessed by a machine that never sleeps and never forgets. We have entered a post-privacy era where our social status, our health, and our very thoughts are projected into an ocean of data that we can no longer control. MARINA is the realization of the universal witness, a secular God made of silicon and fiber optics that knows us better than we know ourselves. We are all swimming in the ocean of everything, and the tide is only rising. Your metadata is your digital DNA. Be careful where you leave it. If you want to be private, you have to be boring. The ocean never forgets a ripple. And remember, in the ocean of everything, everyone is a data point. Thanks for listening, and join us next time as we examine Project STEEP, the ambitious effort to map the Soviet Union's internal power grid using satellite sensors. We'll look at the energy espionage, the tracking of the Soviet heartland's pulse, and the reality of a war fought through the flicker of a light bulb. Join us next time for the electric frontier. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.